You know them, you hate them, you probably have them. They're cockroaches. Yes, it's time for the Interesting Animal Podcast to talk about everyone's favorite skittering critter. Odds are good that you've encountered one of these pleasant household guests within the last month, so maybe your love for roaches is still fresh on the mind. There's a common understanding that roaches are extremely difficult to kill. Pesticides, floods, even nuclear holocaust aren't enough to wipe these guys out. But how much truth is there to that? Let's find out just how well the roach survives here in life, death, and taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube.
And thank you to Brian for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at ldtaxonomy.com at ldtaxonomy, or visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. Did you just fall out of your chair?
Nope, I spilled water, but only a small amount of it.
I was very confused, but I can't see you, so I assumed the worst. Which I guess is falling out of your chair is the worst.
Since you can't see me, you don't know that I'm now wearing also a Santa Claus hat.
You copied me?
I had it ordered on the way when you were wearing yours, and I didn't even know you were wearing yours until you said it.
Well, that wasn't even my final form. This is my final form. I'm wearing an ugly Christmas sweater.
I just have a festive flannel.
I have drunk llama.
But I am not a hat guy, and this Santa Claus hat is quite comfortable.
So it might become a permanent addition to your wardrobe?
Yes. I'm going out of town up north, and by up north, I mean to the south. And if it's cold at all, I'm going to be wearing this hat.
You should. And you shouldn't let anyone stop you.
I won't. I shan't.
Live your Santa hat truth.
Okay, and today we're talking about everyone's favorite animal, but more on that later.
Yeah. It's
I guarantee you, at the end of this episode, this will be your favorite animal. I'm just kidding. It will not be. Unless it is.
This is probably going to make it worse if it's not your favorite animal.
Oh, I have a fast fact that will make it worse.
Ooh. I have a fast fact in case you didn't catch this fast fact, so... but you probably got it just because you did the research.
We'll see.
Now I've set it up, so if you didn't get it, then it's going to look like you didn't do the research.
I might not have done that research.
But yeah, what are we talking about? What is everyone's favorite animal of all time? Is it the koala?
No, we're talking about, and now there's several different names for this, but we're talking about the false death's head cockroach.
Yeah. Cockroaches in general, but this one has just about the best name that a cockroach can have.
Since this has 6 million names, I called it the discoid cockroach, which is like shorter
a little bit.
The disco man. But would you like to hear what oh no, you have other names for it, right?
Yeah, it's just false death's head cockroach is a really long name, but it's definitely the band that opens for tongue-eating louse.
It's also a long tail keyword, and we should have no problem ranking for it.
Except a lot of people use this cockroach in particular, like for food and stuff, for their animals.
I see a lot of discoid, people calling it discoid.
Yeah. So if there are a lot of people searching for false death's head cockroach, we should do pretty well on the Google SERPs. But it's also called, like you said, the discoid cockroach, the tropical cockroach, the Haitian cockroach, the West Indian cockroach, and drummer. So I really did. When we were...
It's not even drummer cockroach.
No, it's just drummer.
Just drummer.
It's just one of the cockroaches' names. When we were doing... gearing up for this, I was like, oh my goodness, we should have done like a Christmas-oriented one. And we have a Christmas-oriented one that's coming up, but it didn't line up with this. I was like, oh, we should switch it around, but it's too late. Turns out there's a little bit of Christmas in even the cockroach. It's the little drummer boy.
Good.
Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, which is exactly what you don't want to hear a cockroach doing. We're also going to call it here Egger, because, of course, it wants sugar and water.
Oh, sugar water.
Yeah.
You say Edgar?
Egger. That's his name.
Oh, I didn't know his name.
Yeah. Bibby and I always quote the wife in that, because she's like, when the Men in Black are this is a Men in Black reference. When the Men in Black are interviewing her, and she's like, it was like wearing an Egger suit.
Oh.
So she's just so disinterested that her emotionally abusive husband was body snatched by a giant outer space cockroach. That it's funny. We're also going to call this cockroach the unkillable Scuttle Boy, because we like putting the word boy at the end of funny things. And then also Logan, because these guys are Wolverine in your house and garage. That joke didn't come off exactly the way I was hoping, but it was the last minute.
I'm totally lost. It was the last minute. We had to throw it in at the last minute. Didn't have time to rehearse.
Yeah, it was. They're very difficult to kill, like Wolverine is.
Fair.
So we're calling him Logan, and the pun is that they are Wolverine your house and garage and stuff like that, because they're cockroaches.
Inside. Wolver inside.
Wolver inside.
A wolf in wolver in sheep's clothing.
No, there are no wolves or sheeps involved.
Crouching at the door, ready to devour. Would you like to hear what science has to call it?
Yeah, give us a science. One science, please.
Well, the one science is kingdom. It's the one you know, love, and live in. Live while within, really, to be honest. It's Kingdom Animalia.
Live Wolverine? I'm going to milk this. We're going to make it happen.
The phylum is Arthropoda. No, it isn't.
No, it's not. This is the fourth time I think you've made
It's Arthropoda. See, the problem is the R looks like an N.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's connected to the T.
It's connected
to the LAN.
It's connected to the T. The R bone's connected to the T bone.
The class is Insecta. The order is Blatodiae. Blatodiae.
Mm-hmm.
Blattaudae.
Blattidae.
The family is Blabberidae. Oh, so it's just ripe for a joke.
Yeah, I don't have it though. It's not going to come from me.
The genus is Blabberus.
Yep.
And then the species is Discoidalis.
Discoidalis? Discoidalis? So between Disco, Blabberus, and Drummer, this is going to be a loud boy.
Yeah, the Blabberus Disco... And it blabbers, yeah. Blabberus Discoidalis. Discoidalis. Yeah. It's probably an oi, not an oe.
Yeah, probably.
Discoidalis.
But since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, critter groups. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question. That question is the same every time. What is the name of a group of this animal? Or what is the term of entry? Or what is the collective noun? It's all the same. If you were so unfortunate to see a lot of these little critters hanging out in one location, if you kicked a rusty rusty dumpster and a bunch of these guys
Rusty Dumpster was my nickname in high school.
That's a good Twitter handle right there. I follow a guy named Rusty Brick.
That sounds like the cool kid in high school that's in jail now.
Rusty Dumpster or Rusty Brick?
Both.
Rusty Brick is a SEO nerd. Yeah, so if you kicked a rusty dumpster and a bunch of these guys fell out and you needed to distract an interstellar cockroach, would you call that A, situation of cockroaches, B, an infestation of cockroaches, C, a horde of cockroaches, or D, an intrusion of cockroaches?
I like a lot of these.
Mm-hmm.
Infestation seems really on the nose.
I don't want any cockroaches on my nose at all.
But if you had a bunch of cockroaches around, it would certainly be a situation. But I'm going to go with infestation. Final answer.
It's incorrect. The answer is intrusion.
Fair enough. That works just as well. Intrusion and infestation are similar. Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but one of them is very specific to probably the worst infestation you can have. Actually, no, I don't know what's worse. I mean, cockroaches are gross and terrible, but I gotta hand it to, like, bed bugs and fleas is probably the worst infestation you could have. Maybe termites also. Probably all of those above cockroaches just because of how unbelievably difficult it is to get rid of them. And how much damage they can do. Cockroaches are gross and terrible, but you are probably going to be okay. Except for the diseases that they carry. Goodness gracious. But yes, it's an intrusion of cockroaches. Do you remember that one place that I used to live? Right after I moved from my parents' house, I moved into the next door house and where we used to play Magic and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There were so many cockroaches in that house. It was owned by the son of a woman, my older neighbor, was an old lady who passed away, and he didn't want to sell her house, so he kind of just left it the way it was, and he let me stay there for a couple months when I was in between living places, and man, I did not want to go downstairs at night at all because I would turn on the light and just movement, so much movement on the kitchen floor. And I'd be downstairs like watching TV or playing a game, and I'd just see 2 or 3 of them skitter across. And so then, yeah, that's when you prop your feet up on the coffee table, and that's just how you live life.
Try not to think about it.
Because there's nothing you can do. But yeah, everybody's got their cockroach stories, and I know that for my wife and my sister-in-law, they'd probably rather perish than touch one of these things. So,
oh, one time I was working and a cockroach, like at this very desk, and I was like, I think I was editing actually this podcast, and I just see something out of the corner of my eye go from like between, I saw it between the 2 monitors, like passing behind my it's like, was that movement or was that just nothing? And I looked and it was this giant cockroach.
Oh, nice.
But we have some cockroaches every once in a while. I usually keep traps, but we don't go to sleep if there's a cockroach at large.
It's true. It
is dealt with before we go to sleep. But that, I can imagine if there's multiple.
Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing. There's nothing I can do. And plus, it was like this. The lady who lived in the house, she had a lot of stuff. It was kind of a typical old lady's house. There was a lot of just furniture, and there was a room dedicated to like porcelain dolls, which I kept closed and locked at all times. So I mean, I was very grateful for the place to stay for a little while, but I also was very eager to not be there anymore. And fortunately, I moved in with you afterwards. So that was definitely an upgrade. Fewer cockroaches and definitely fewer porcelain doll rooms, I gotta say.
For sure. Absolutely zero porcelain doll rooms.
That was actually one of my requirements, if you remember, in my Craigslist post.
Not absolutely zero cockroaches, but definitely fewer.
Fewer cockroaches than I had before, and absolutely zero rooms dedicated to porcelain dolls.
But we had like a lot of animals that worked for us, like spiders and lizards.
Yeah,
this place has a lot of spiders and lizards.
Yeah, still not crazy on spiders. Lizards are okay.
With around here, it's mostly like corner spiders that kind of just set up shop and don't move.
Yeah, I think we talked about this recently. Around here, it's like poker chip sized spiders that move very quickly, which is unacceptable.
Would you like to have it described to you?
I would love to have a cockroach described to me, and I'm sure most of our listeners and hopefully viewers would also love to have that described to them in great,
here we
in great
go.
detail, please.
Chow down on your cereal and picture with your mind's eye this.
Or eat your shrimp.
Yeah, that's a good. Very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
Both arthropods.
They're like the cockroaches of the sea.
This roach looks like a roach, a brown bug, a beetle of sorts. But it's slightly more of a round shape than a long oval-like shape, like other cockroaches. Discoid is apropos because they're round.
Mm-hmm.
It's a light tan with dark brown legs and a dark black spot on the back of its head.
Same. Goodness gracious, I have so much in common with this cockroach.
But when you were younger, were you brown with light tan speckles?
Sure. I had pimples. Does that count?
Were they light tan?
Yeah, a little bit lighter than the rest of my skin.
I'm seeing juvenile ones, and they almost look like pill bugs, segmented backs.
Yeah, those are probably my least favorite, even though it's clear they can't fly.
That might be what they look like when they can't fly, when they have no wings.
Mm-hmm. The ones with like the wings, that obviously those are more of a threat, but for some reason they don't gross me out as much.
They have that nice, sleek, shiny back that is just like, at least we've put a nice coat of paint on this bug.
It's like lipstick on a pig, really.
But let's talk size.
Ooh.
Welcome to the Blood Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you. I pointed at the camera, but I didn't know where it was at first.
I pointed at the llama on my chest.
I pointed at myself. And then I was like, no, I'm not recording directly at me. But it's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering. The words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week.
No.
But that means we get to hear from an animal, and Carlos has to guess what it is.
Hissing cockroach, final answer.
Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. You know what? That sounds like one of those plastic straws that you can just like make a really loud whistling sound in.
Yeah, that was cacophonous.
It was.
It's the adjective.
Were they A, geese, B, swans, C, a collie bird, or D, a partridge?
Oh, you already tried to pull partridge on.
Yeah, is it another partridge? Obviously, it's not a partridge or a collie bird. It is several of them, but goose, swan, collie bird, partridge.
I have no idea what a collie bird is. I don't think it's a swan. So I think it's between goose and... I don't think partridge was the answer last time. I think it was a French hen was the answer. I guess let's go with the one I have no idea about. Collie bird. Wait, did you say collie bird or calling bird? Is this like
Colly bird?
Because you do get 4 calling birds.
Yes.
Which is probably why you chose that.
Yes.
Then I will. That may change things.
But they're all
Geese.
in the song. Geese, swans, collie bird, calling
Are there
bird.
There's swans in the song? It's a swan
7
song?
swans a swimming.
Oh, you're right. It is a swan song. I have no idea. Is the song Collie Birds? Is it 4 collie birds?
I'll give you a fact about that after you guess.
Let's go with it. Collie birds. Let's do it.
Final answer?
Yes.
The correct answer was geese. Those are white geese. Collie bird is the original lyric, but it's now calling bird.
Oh.
But collie birds are black birds. Collie from the word coal, meaning black. They're just blackbirds.
So much originality there.
Yeah.
This is like coal, right? Let's go call it a collie bird. You can't call it a collie bird. We'll call it a collie bird. Well, I want to call it a collie bird. I don't want. Okay, fine. We'll call it a collie bird.
But nowadays, if you sing this song, you will see that the lyric says calling, as in a songbird.
Now I'm going to stay true to the original lyrics, just like I do for the Gloria Patri.
Let's talk length. They're between 35 and 45 millimeters, as we were counseled to say by Nora.
Yes.
Or 1.4 to 1.8 inches.
Wise counsel.
How many roaches would it take to reach the distance traveled by the first team to row the Atlantic from east to west?
To row?
That's right.
And first?
That's right.
Huh. That, I didn't know that had even been done. I imagine it's probably not from Panama to Spain.
Oh, would you like a hint? Because I know where it's from.
Sure.
From where to where?
Yeah.
In 2016, aka Ross Johnson, Jackson Fox, Aldo Kane, and Oliver Bailey, and Matt Bennett.
This is definitely like an 80s UK pop or band. This is like the members of U2. This is their names. Just like this is Bono. This is The Edge.
They rode from Lagos, Portugal, to Carapano, Venezuela.
Oh my. They accounted for the Coriolis effect, I assume.
This is the first team. I'm seeing a lot of like firsts, but that's how Guinness World Records is. First team to row east to west, first team to row west to east, first team to row with a little chicken in the boat with them.
First team to row wearing Santa Claus
hats. That was Moana.
Wow. What was the length again?
The 1.8.
Yep.
45 millimeters.
All right. 1.8 inches across the Atlantic. And I imagine it's not a straight shot because, like on a map, because the world curves at such a large distance. So if my time watching my little plane icon go across the Atlantic on several occasions has told me anything, is that you got to go curved if you want to go straight. But that's not gonna. I can't really account for that. So I don't know. Let's say 10,000 miles. That seems insane, but like it's about 2,000 miles or 2,500 from like here, from like the South Florida to New Yorkish.
Oh, this is specifically from the first team to go from Europe to South America.
Oh, there's so much room for more Guinness World Book records. You and I should
That's
train.
why I was trying to find this again, so I typed it in, and there's a million firsts, east to west.
All right, I'm going to go with 8,000 miles. Or maybe it is 281.6 million. False deaths, head cockroaches go into the length of this this trip. By the way, like Jackson Fox and stuff like that, they're definitely members of False Death's Head Cockroach, which opened for Tongue Eating Louse.
Jason Fox.
Or Jason Fox.
The correct answer is 135,000. I mean, what? 135 million.
Oh.
197,600 roaches.
This is about half.
Yeah,
what
the trip
I guess
was
4,000 miles.
3,335 nautical miles, or 6,177 kilometers, or 3,838 regular miles.
Yeah.
Why are those two different miles different? The world may never know.
I bet somebody knows. I just haven't looked it up yet. Every time I hear nautical miles, I'm like, I'm gonna look it up. What's the difference? And I never do. And I won't now.
Yeah.
You can't make me.
Let's talk weight.
Okay, yeah.
The American cockroach, which are larger, weigh between 0.1 gram and 0.12 grams, or 0.0035 and 0.004 ounces. So we'll call this 0.1 grams or 0.003 ounces based on the lower end of average for American cockroaches. How many discoid roaches go into the largest serving of guacamole ever, which I suppose is hotly contested because there was one in 2017, 2018, and there's one from a Jets game from 2019, 2019, but I haven't seen that on the Guinness World Record page, so we're going with the one from 2018.
I'm going to say 500 pounds.
Well, here's a hint. The dip was made in 2018 by Junta Local de Sanidad Vegetal de
nailed it.
10 Citaro?
You're doing great.
Excuse me, is the G soft in Spanish when it's followed by an E? Vegetal or vegetal?
Vegetal. Yeah, no, it's wait.
It's soft? There's no?
Wait, I'm trying to think of Spanish
H
words
sound?
that starts with that have G's in them. Yes, yeah. I think it's only hard G in Spanish. Like pregunta. And Tegucigalpa.
Vegetal, they're saying.
What? Well, then why don't they put a J there? Because J is the huh.
It's kind of an H sound, but this is Argentina.
I guess I've never. Vegetales would be. I don't know.
Well, anyway, what did you say it was? Let's
500 pounds. Just 8,000 ounces.
Let's have our fluent Spanish-speaking listeners send in a measure up with the word vegetal, vegetable.
I am ashamed. I have not practiced Spanish in so long. 2.6 million.
2.6 million. Final answer.
Yeah.
The correct answer is 37 million.
Oh boy.
The dip, the guac, weighed 3,788 kilograms, or 8,351 pounds.
That is insane.
It's quite a lot. But now you know how many cockroaches you could eat
Instead.
What
What kind of
you
music?
really wanted it to be high in protein.
What kind of music does False Death's Head Cockroach play?
Sludge core.
Guac and roll.
Okay, would you like some fast facts?
Sludgecore also works. Yes.
Discoids come from Central and South America, but they're also on the islands, the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
These roaches make good robots.
Sure.
Let me explain that. In 2012, a team of researchers implanted a small fuel cell into a discoid roach. The roach produced a power density of 55 microwatts per square centimeters. I don't know what that means, but I'm told it's low wattage. But it's enough to power small devices and may be enough to power other devices that they've already made that can hijack the roach nervous system. So they've already done this before, where they've put a little backpack on a roach that controls its movement, and you can remote control a roach. But the battery power of that little device is lacking. So why not have it be powered by the roach's own electricity? So imagine like being a roach and then having scientists tap into your own electrical life force to power something that controls your body.
This is as inhumane as I want it to be for a cockroach.
Then they just slap a tiny little camera on it to get a better look at areas harmful to humans.
That's
or,
interesting.
you know,
why don't they just build a regular robot?
they could like for this wattage for micro robots, it might be helpful. But it's not good for surveillance on the general population, probably because you don't want to put your surveillance technology on something that's loathed by all and easily destroyed.
Yeah. It's also unconstitutional.
They're often sold as food for pet reptiles. They're considered easy to raise in captivity. So if you have a bearded dragon, you can have a little basket full of roaches you can feed it.
Who doesn't want a basket full of roaches? It is that time of year.
Put them in your little stockings.
Yeah, I really hope that that's what I get in my stocking.
They often the discoid roach cockroaches. Here's the dooziest of doozy fast facts. Discoid cockroaches are also a popular food in insect eating competitions.
You did hit the fact that I found.
In fact, a man in a cockroach eating competition died after winning the contest from asphyxiation. I think he was vomiting and he choked.
Sounds great. Sounds like a great way to go.
Guess where this was?
Oh, I don't have to guess. I know.
It was in 2020. It was in Deerfield Beach, Florida.
Oh, I didn't know it was in Deerfield Beach. I just saw
Yep.
South Florida. Oh my goodness, that's my hometown. It's not. I just lived there for a little while. Goodness gracious. Oh. Why are you doing Deerfield dirty, man?
Do you know what the prize was going to be?
A basket of cockroaches, I hope.
No,
For
an
your bearded
$850 python.
A what?
An $850 python.
A living one?
Yeah.
There's no way that's worth it. Unless you
For
really
sure,
like
no.
to eat cockroaches, unless it's your favorite thing. There's no eating contest I would enter in for like less than like many thousands of dollars.
I definitely wouldn't like do it to like earn an animal that would give me no like joy as a companion.
Yeah, especially because you can just go out into the Everglades and catch yourself a nice big python, and everyone would thank you for it, as long as you don't re-release it.
Yeah. But that's all I got for that. Do you have any big facts?
Well, I was also going to point out that the false death's head cockroach, or FDHC, did not insure that guy. He was not FDHC insured.
I don't know what that means.
Like FDIC, like the federal bank will insure your deposit. Federal Deposit Insurance Corps. I don't know what that means. Anyway, dumb financial joke. The major fact is called "What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stranger." I was just watching that movie. So good. That was The Dark Knight, by the way. Cockroaches are well known for their survivability. We already mentioned that. I remember as a kid believing that they would survive a nuclear bomb.
Believing it, or is that not true?
It's not true. What can survive a nuclear bomb? Like a bomb.
They can, I see. I was still thinking the aftermath of a bomb.
Yeah. That's up for debate, but being within the blast radius of a nuclear bomb is not, no. Not even tardigrades. There were reports, however, of roaches thriving in the aftermath of Hiroshima and Nagasaki after we politely asked Japan if they wouldn't mind surrendering during World War II, but that doesn't mean they survived the blast. I was confused as a kid, however, because you can just step on one. I was like, you can survive a nuclear blast, but I can just kill it with my nuclear feet? That's
You're so powerful.
Like or they're just like they're like Achilles, like they're invincible except for this one like particular mode of applying pressure, and they're just dead. So I remember getting into arguments in like kindergarten and first grade with kids saying like there's no way that they can survive a nuclear blast. I could just step on them. But eventually I was apparently swayed to their point of view because I remember believing that they could survive a nuclear blast. And then to further things, there's Wall-E, which had a cockroach as the only living animal on Earth after it becomes an unlivable hellscape. And
the only living boy in New York.
What?
Nothing.
Only living boy in New York? Is that a band?
No, it's a song by Simon and Garfunkel.
I was close. Oh, I don't know that one. Also, Wall-E is probably the only time that a cockroach has ever been portrayed as or considered cute.
That's true. Maybe.
Probably. All told, roaches are known for their ability to survive earth, wind, and fire because they're staying alive. There, I put a song back in. It's been a while since we've sung.
More music.
There you go. But how much truth is there to their survivability? Scientists have recently sequenced the genome of the American cockroach and found some things. So let's debunk or confirm some myths. Myth number 1. Cockroaches can survive without their heads. Do you think that's true or false, Joe?
I've seen a wasp fly holding its own head in a video. So I'm going to say that's true.
You are correct. It is true. Cockroaches breathe through holes in the ventral sides of their bodies, and they have an open circulatory system, so they actually don't need their heads to breathe. So breathing is not what ends up killing them. What ends up killing them is because they still can't eat or drink. So they eventually die of dehydration. Wow. But that can take up to a week, so they can live a week without their heads. Good on you. Let's see if you can get the other ones. Number 2, myth number 2. Cockroaches don't need to breathe at all.
Well, do you mean like they don't need oxygen?
Right, they don't need oxygen.
That's false.
You're correct. They kill, you can't put one in space. But Papa Roach will survive for up to 40 minutes without oxygen.
We're coming almost like this, thematically coming full circle to our tardigrade episode, because tardigrades are similar, where they do need oxygen, but they can survive without it for a long time,
and they can keep some in their tummies and use
a little
it
pouch
later. Yeah, we are coming almost full circle to the tardigrade episode, and just after our 200th episode. 40 minutes without oxygen. That's partially due to their open circulatory system. Myth number 3. Cockroaches can eat just about anything.
Just about anything.
Mm-hmm. And anything that can be broken down and put into their mouths, they can eat.
Well, not metal, not inorganics. I'm going to say not inorganics.
I will.
But let's say this, for the sake of the spirit of the term, just about anything, I'm going to say that's true.
It's tough to say anything because obviously they can't. But the answer is they can eat anything that they can break down and put into their mouths.
Okay, so I guess if you don't, they don't have the power to break down some metal.
Right, they can't eat
some stones.
Yeah, but if they can fit it into their mouths, they can eat it. They can eat the starch in books, and they can eat wallpaper, glue, stamps, your dried skin flakes, hair, plus all of the stuff that they eat, like all of your garbage and mud and
cereal.
Stuff like that. Their genes allow them to break down just about any substance, and that includes many pesticides designed to kill them, which contributes to their unkillable myth, their legend. It grows with every pesticide that they ingest.
Oh boy. Yeah. Wow. Is that why they like dry stacks of paper, cardboard, stuff like that? Because it's a nice dry place for them to nest, but also eat. It's
also food. Yeah. Basically, when you use a pesticide, like an ingestible pesticide on a cockroach, it's like Kate Blanchett with Thor's hammer. It's like, you thought this was going to kill me, but I'm about to destroy it and you.
I hope not, because there's a ton of roach traps in my house.
Yeah.
I hope they're doing something.
Turns out they're probably eating it and having a blast.
Really? Like pesticides are ineffective, or are they just it's kind of like a gamble, like it could live, could die?
It's probably an arms race where we're just breeding, but by upgrading our chemicals, we're just breeding more and more powerful cockroaches that are pesticide resistant and will eventually kill us all.
Well, you knew when you were a child, it's hard to resist the power of the stomp.
All right, just stomp them. Hey, is that your auntie? Coming back to this abundant well of cockroach pop culture memes. I mean, they're not. You can exterminators have chemicals that kill cockroaches, but there are many common ones that they can just ingest and be fine. So, again, they're not invincible, but they are very good at not dying. Myth number 4: roaches can survive nuclear blasts. We already touched on this one.
Right, that's false.
That is false. Absolutely nothing can survive a direct blast from a nuclear bomb, except Superman. And I guess Kevin Bacon's character in that one X-Men movie. X-Men First Class, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he absorbs all the energy.
Sebastian Shaw.
Yes, Sebastian Shaw. I would not have remembered that. But I just remember him as Kevin Bacon in the movie. But yeah, they can't survive nuclear blasts. But this brings us to myth number 5. Roaches can survive nuclear radiation.
It's up for debate. You said that earlier. I'm going to say theoretically true.
It's kind of a misleading one because we can all survive some level of nuclear radiation. We always do. We get cosmic radiation from the sun at all times when we're outside. And so, yeah, anytime there's solar radiation or light is also radiation. So technically, yeah, we survive lots of radiation. But roaches seem to be more resistant to gamma rays than humans.
No Hulk roaches.
No, that would be terrifying. And the Avengers don't need another arthropod-based hero on their team. You have Hulk Roach, you've got Ant-Man, and you have Spider-Man, and it's just there's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man and a Hulk Roach. Oh, it's terrifying. Just a roach, but instead of 6 like spindly legs, it's got 6 Hulk arms. It's coming out the underside of it. Oh, that's it just pounds the ground as it runs. That's bad. That's horrifying. But Hulk, I guess Hulk too. But roaches can survive 6 to 15 times more gamma radiation than humans. But that is still less than the fruit fly. The fruit fly can survive more gamma radiation than a common roach.
Wow.
So.
And it doesn't get any recognition for it.
The humble fruit fly, used in all kinds of like gene experiments. What's a Punnett square? There we go. And they use the fruit flies for them. Is actually a superhero. But yeah, those are the 5 common survivability myths. 3 of them are true. They can survive without their heads. They can eat just about anything they can put in their mouths, and they can survive a very not healthy amount of nuclear radiation, of harmful radiation. Which is why why there are pictures of them hanging out in the aftermath of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings. And so, yeah, if you did not already love cockroaches, then I hope I've changed your mind. Do you got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, that was the false death's head cockroach, or just cockroaches in general. So for you out there in Podcastia, stay alive. Breathe through your ventral tubes, and don't get squished like a little cockroach. Like the cockroach here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy. And Merry Christmas.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Was that strong bad?
No, it was supposed to be. I'm gonna squish you like a little cockroach. It's like I think that's.
Scarface.
Scarface, yeah.
I'm so happy about this hat.